There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hey, 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 hey. What's up? What's up? What's up? Testing. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. So, hey, guys. Al Philosian here again, guys. Been a while. I've seen you guys. Been a while. I've spoken to you guys. I've been traveling myself. Been moving around a little bit. Hope everybody's doing awesome. Hope everybody's doing good. I wanted to start out a bit earlier so I could let everybody catch on, but this is the new way I'm going to be going ahead and doing my podcasts. Moving forward, we're going to be streaming on a lot of different platforms moving forward. You could also see us on all the podcasts themselves, channels, all the main platforms like iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, also Pandora. And that's just look for Island Vacation Travel Podcast. I'm going to find it on there. So today I just wanted to come in and give you an update. Today is the 23rd of July. Can you believe it? Of July 2021. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Um, I just wanted to come and give you a little bit of cruise news updates because we haven't done cruising in a minute. A lot of people have been calling the travel agency to try to find out what's going on and what they could do to be able to get on the next cruise line. So I wanted to just come on today and give a quick update today, Friday. We outside. The weather not as beautiful as it's supposed to be, but it is still a little bit hot out in Florida. Might have some few rainstorms passing through, but we still nothing to complain about. Better than the cold. So today I wanted to just first give you all an update on first of all Carnival Carnival Cruise Lines. I know we haven't spoke about Carnival Cruise Lines in a long time. Carnival Cruise Lines is actually there. I've been going to some of their meetings. I've been going and check out what's going on with them. Carnival will relaunch three more ships in September. Can you believe that? So despite cruise lines are not up right now, um, Carnival Cruise Lines is going ahead with launching three more ships, and that's in September. Let's read what the headlines state. Carnival Cruise Line will relaunch three more ships in September, followed by another four in October, when the cruise plans to have 15 ships back in service. That is amazing, right? So, as we know, there is Carnival Mardi Gras that is actually coming out. That's the one everyone is familiar with, and that's by the end of July. We'll have five ships in our restart plan, including introduction of service on Mardi Gras, and we are seeing a great combination of strong demand and strong guest satisfaction caused by positive guest experience on board. So that's just feedback coming from the Carnival Cruise Line camp concerning what's going on in the cruise industry with Carnival Cruise Line coming back on the water. As I said before in previous, maybe just blogs or speaking about cruising during the pandemic itself, in the midst of it all, I said that each of the cruise lines, in fact, in the last podcast, I spoke about each of the cruise lines have their own regulations that they made with the government. So, as you can see, there's a lot of noise about it on the news. Today, I'm going to just talk about a little bit about it. So, we're going to go ahead and move along with it. But I'm just letting you know that all of the cruise lines are coming on and they all have their own individual agreement with the government, especially of Florida. Okay. Now, the free ships launching in September are the Carnival Glory, and that's from New Orleans on September 5th. The Carnival Pride, and that's from Baltimore, and that's on September 12th. And the Carnival Dream from Galveston, and that's Texas, and that's on September 19th. Okay, so that's three ships, one coming from Baltimore, Galveston, and New Orleans. Then, as I said, in October, they're also going to launch some other ships as well, which in October, the Carnival Conquest will launch from Miami. Yes, that's us right there. That's about like 3 hours from me. And that's on October 8th. And the Carnival Freedom from Miami, yes, again, on October 9th. And the Carnival Oh, elation, and that's from Port Canaveral. That is literally about 40 minutes from me. That's on October 11th. Okay, so that's them restarting. That's the dates that Carnival is gonna restart cruising and have stuff going on with those ships launching, right? And the Carnival Sensation from Mobile, Alabama, that's also gonna go out on October 21st, right? So Carnival said um, all of its ship would remain 95% vaccination rate through at least October. So that's Carnival's word for what's going on with their cruise line and the developments in coming back into the new travel atmosphere. Okay, so that's just a little bit from Carnival Cruise Lines. Next, we have a bit. I mean, I know a lot of people are anticipating to coming back to Carnival Cruise Lines. I know people that only cruise with Carnival Cruise Lines. That's what they like. That's the only cruise line they enjoy. They don't want to try anybody else, so they're waiting patiently to be able to get back. Of course, Carnival is the fun ship, so we cannot wait for them to come back. Speaking about regulations with the different cruise lines and what's going on, the federal court uploads the CDC cruise order in Florida. Okay, the federal court upholds the CDC cruise order in Florida. So that's what's going on with the CDC. Let's check this out. So, as you know, Florida and the cruise industry have been having a lot of back and forth and lawsuits and everything going on TV. A federal court ruled Saturday that the CDC can enforce its conditional sailing order (CSO) in Florida, overturning a low court ruling in June that would have made the CSO unenforceable after June 18th. I'm pretty sure you all heard about that on news. Um, Florida sued the CDC in April to overturn the CSO, which the state won in the lawsuit. First test when U.S. District Judge Stephen Merdy granted a temporary injunction against the CDC. Governor Ron DeSantis called it a victory for Florida families. So that's when they went against the CDC and won the court case against everyone having to be vaccinated to be able to get on the cruise line. So now there's a whole pushback on that. The CC appealed the ruling on June 6, saying that the undisputed evidence shows that unregulated cruise ships operations would exacerbate the spread of COVID-19 and that the harm to the public and that would result from such an operation cannot be undone. So that's some feedback from what's going on concerning the CDC and the state of Florida. So now the CDC has got it overturned in a higher court to push back on the whole regulation that Florida won concerning the cruise line cannot mandate everyone to be vaccinated. So it looked like it's the push with the vaccine. So that's what's pretty much going on. Um, oh, this just came across my board, not in the podcast at all, but just came across my board. Norwegian Cruise Line sues Florida over vax law. So Norwegian Cruise Line sues Florida over the vaccination law. The free judge panel on the 11th U.S. Circuit Court District of Appeal ruled on Saturday, just before the deadline, by a 2-1 vote that the CDC had made a requisite showing and that the opinions will follow. Wow. So now this is Norwegian Cruise Line suing Florida. It looks like the cruise lines are about to get their way concerning that they wanting everyone to be vaccinated to come on the cruise line because they're trying to prevent the stop of the COVID. It doesn't prevent it, but I guess it's becoming mandatory within all businesses and all establishments. That's what it looks like. So both Carnival won the lawsuit against Florida. Florida, the CDC came back and is appealing this against Carnival, right? And now Norwegian Cruise Line is suing Florida now. So a lot of suing going back and forth. Thank you everybody for tuning in on YouTube and Instagram as well, and Facebook too. So this is a lot going on. So just to go a little bit more into it concerning different countries and different regulations concerning cruising, we have some good news there concerning our people to the north, which is Canada. Canada lifting the cruise ban on November 1st. Oh, that's still a little while to go, but they finally come into a consensus where they're deciding that they're going to lift up the cruise ban um, on November 1st. This date effectively means that cruising won't begin in Canada until spring, pretty much. Since the summer Alaska season and the summer fall Atlantic Canada season will be over by November. So by November, it will already be over, and that's when Canada will be open. So we'll have to wait until spring cruises. So all the people interested in traveling to Canada, which I know Halifax, and there's a lot to see in Canada. Beautiful out there. You'll have to wait a little bit, and that's just coming from the government of Canada. But at least they have a date as to when they want to start. In February, Canada extended the cruise ship ban from 1 year until February 2022 on cruises carrying more than 100 people. So if you're carrying less than 100 people, you were able to cruise out there. That's those private charter yachts, but not in big, yeah. The ban put the year's Alaska cruise season in doubt because until United States Passenger Vessel Services Act PVSA mandates foreign flagships to call in at least one foreign port on any U.S. itinerary, right? Which is why large cruise ships either begin in or call in Vancouver or Victoria, BC, as part of call on any Alaska cruise line, any Alaska itineraries. So, as I said, Canada is lifting its ban on November 1st. Yep, so that's some good news for Canada and the people in the north. At least they could see what's going on with everything. At least, well, they about to join into the party to try and get the cruise ship industry going and coming back on. All right, so that's just a few of the stories for right now. As I said, Carnival will be relaunching three more ships in September. Norwegian Cruise Line sues Florida. The federal court upholds CDC cruise order in Florida, um, and also Canada lifting the cruise ban on November 1st. So we're just gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back in current in travel, right? Thank you everybody for subscribing in. We really, really appreciate it. Yep. So some more news on current in travel, and that's in the Caribbean, right? The British Virgin Islands require vaccination travelers to take antigen test on arrival. So even if you're vaccinated, right, the US Virgin Islands is telling you that you still need to take the antigen test. So that's what's going on with them, right? Um, a lot of different Caribbean countries have a lot of different rules going on, but British Virgin Islands, the numbers spiked up. I know that personally, I have one of our team members from Island Vacation Travel Agency. They actually live in the British Virgin Islands, and they brought that to my attention, right? Um, Seaborne Aviation to make a Caribbean debut. Seaborne is a different cruise line. A lot of people probably not familiar with it, but it's making its debut to the Caribbean. Also, St. Kitts and Nevis shortens quarantine period for visitors. So the quarantine period for visitors with St. Kitts and Nevis is going to be shortened. Also, Cayman Islands outlines phased reopening to tourism. So Cayman Island is about to start reopening, but they're doing it in phases. And that is just some few updates with the Caribbean islands. Okay. And for our island, St. Lucia, which is where I'm from, St. Lucia is going through elections right now. So that's what's going on in St. Lucia. And we are still number one for honeymoons and tourism, right? To do with the cruise lines, for now, Norwegian Cruise Lines has a limited time exclusive up to $200 for your clients, for you guys, and $50 for me when I book you guys this trip. So let's get money together, right? And that's with Norwegian Cruise Line. Um, with Disney Cruise Lines, I know I don't normally talk about Disney, but Disney Cruise Lines is all, we also do book trips for Disney. Um, all new enchantment is on the horizon. Also, for Azama, which is Royal Caribbean, book any Azama voyage between July 1st and July 31st. And guys, you'll receive $500 on board credit on any sailing, and that's with Azama. And lastly, for the cruise lines, that is Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages is ready for the sailing for the sailors. For anybody who books a trip within 2021, you get a chance to be part of a lifetime group. And I will be giving you more information on that when I bring in my Virgin Voyages rep on the next podcast so that I could stay there and let them talk about it a little bit more. I will be elaborating a little bit more. I will be putting out some advertisements concerning Virgin Voyages. It's something exclusive for people who travel in with Virgin Voyages in 2021, and they're going to be back in October. Please do not forget, guys, to check out our online store. That is www.islandvacays.com. Sorry about that. That's our website, islandvacays.com. And then our online store, which is www.ivtaware.com. Right? Also, don't forget to vote. Vote for us in the International Travel Awards. We finally made it out there, guys. And thank you, everybody, for that, been supporting us for that. We finally made it out there, and we have been nominated for Best Travel Agency and also Best Online Travel Agency. If you want to vote for us, you could check on our social media platforms. I've been sharing with everybody. Also, you could check out on our website www.islandvacays, that is islandvacas.com, and look to the bottom of the page, and you will see two banners right there. Just vote and do both, Best Online Travel Agency and Best Travel Agency. Really appreciate that, guys. Yes. So this has been the end of Current in Travel. Right? So just to bring it back on what we had going on with the news and what's going on with cruise updates. Tight occupancy has created a high demand and pushed the prices up to new heights in cruises. So I know we're talking about cruises right now, and I wanted to bring that's one of the things that made me want to bring this to your attention. If you all see the prices of cruises going up, do not be surprised. Um, Cruises have just become more expensive, cost and demand. People have been in for so long that now they're yearning to go out, and cruises are selling out like that, and the prices are soaring up. So if you want to try and get in, you have to try and get it as soon as possible. Call your travel agent, and we'll be able to book it for you, help you put a deposit, use your ETFs and all those different things. So that's just some of what's been going on. There have been a few bright spots for the cruise industry during the 15-month global shutdown, but one that emerged towards the end of 2020 and has demonstrated staying power is the rising of the prices concerning cruises. Norwegian Cruise Line has said so. The CEO, Frank Del Rio, said it's just amazing on how amazing the price power we actually have. That's how much the prices of cruises fluctuating right now. So they're giving a lot of specials on cruises. I encourage people to support, because of course we have to get the industry banging back, and that's actually one of the things I enjoy the most, cruising. My last thing before the whole pandemic was Uber Soca Cruise. I was so happy I did that. I encourage everybody to do it. Uber Soca Cruise, Reggae Cruise. Call me. Let's set up a group for you. Let's put a group together. Let's do the 2 day cruise, 4 day cruise, the cruise and stay in Bahamas. There's lots of different options. All you have to do is call me and I can put it together. Me and my team will put it together. We'll call the companies themselves, and they have people that's business development managers that's there to help us put anything you want together, whether it's a celebration, an anniversary, just a party, a get together, work get together, team building experiences. We do it all, right? Oh, I know y'all heard that with the weather. So just to go on our last topic before we get out of here, the Crystal Symphony sailing to Bermuda from Boston and New York. Okay, so Crystal Cruises is another cruise line that we also book for a different demographic of people, or it's something you could want to try. They're going to be starting to sail from New York or Boston. So just know that people, it's not only Carnival, Royal Caribbean, or Norwegian Cruise Line. You have Crystal Cruises, you have Azama, you have lots of different cruise lines. It just depends on what you want and what your budget is. We can put it together for you, right? We really can put it together for you. It's the best way to travel. You get away to see a couple different places at any one time, and it makes it easier to be able to go island hopping, right? So Crystal Cruises starting in August will launch its cruises to Bermuda from Boston and New York on the Crystal Symphony. And the Symphony had been scheduled to do a 10-day Caribbean cruise from Antigua and St. Martin in August, but cancelled due to the season citing airlifting difficulties and but higher demands for cruises from the U.S. port. So they've relocated, right? So that's a lot of what's been going on is that a lot of different ships have been relocating where they used to go or where they're sailing from. And that has opened up a whole new thing where people get a chance to travel and see different countries. So I know for sure, coming from meetings with Royal Caribbean, they told me that they were going to the Southern Caribbean, which is what we specialize for. That is from what it's from, I call it from Dominica or even as far as Antigua, St. Kitts, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. That's all Southern Caribbean. So that's good to have those cruise lines going down there. Also with Virgin Voyages, I came from a meeting with them 2 days ago, and they were going to some beautiful spots in the Mediterranean. They're different. It's a different type of cruise line, adult cruise line, all inclusive. You have a bathtub. You get to go some different islands. It's leaving from different countries a little bit later. So it's porting early, leaving late. So you have a longer span of time to be in those islands, and it's just beautiful. Adults only, so it's a different experience. So I encourage people to try out cruising with what's coming up now in the new tourism industry that we have, right? So this has been just some updates from Cruise News Travel Weekly. For Cruise News, I just wanted to start back giving you all your podcast and to check in with you guys to give you all some content to know what's going on in the world. Don't forget to vote for us in the International Travel Awards, Best Travel Agency and Best Online Travel Agency. Thanks to you guys. Also, and this was done all organically by people who volunteered for us out there. So we really, really thank you for that. Also, don't forget to check out our Facebook shop, our Instagram shop, and also don't forget www.ivtaware.com. All right. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do. I'm going to stick around for a little bit and just see what's going on, guys. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, what's up, Instagram? What's up? What's up? What's up?